All right, welcome to another edition of the Above the Bridge podcast. This is episode 50. I'm your host, Thaddeus. Shout out to our producer, boy band John. What's up, John? All right. Okay, shout out to our sponsors. We got Defend Hawaii, defendhawaii.com. If you go on their website, grab whatever you want. Upon checkout, enter promo code ATBPOD upon checkout, 15% off your entire purchase order. defendhawaii.com. Also, hawaiicandyfactory.com. Go to their website, go order whatever kind of crazy candy concoctions they have. They got a bunch of nerds with gushers and lihimui, and they have those packages called nom noms. Go grab them. Enter promo code ATBPOD upon checkout and get 10% off your entire purchase order. Okay, this week we saved our 50th episode for someone who's been in the game for a long time. I've learned a lot from this person just from watching him and seeing his aloha. He's somebody that means a lot to me, especially in the industry that I'm in, and he helped pioneer it in Hawaii. One of Hawaii's iconic promoters, Mr. Rick Rock. What's up, Rick?
Aloha. Thanks for having me, Dad. I'm just chilling. I'm happy. 50. Let's go.
You're 50?
No, 50th pod.
Oh, okay, my bad.
50th episode. Let's go.
Right on. You just got married, huh?
Yeah, man. Finally, I got married. I'm celebrating my three month.
Get it right.
3 months. Woo, 3 months and 2 weeks. All my other friends are like 25 years married. Like, it's crazy.
Well, I'm divorced. So
you can start over again.
Yeah. Congratulations, bro. I know that's a big deal, man.
You got to. You gotta wait for the right one. I waited a long time to get the right. You gotta make sure you get the right one.
Well, you gotta try them all out first, right? Then you can.
Yeah, but you don't gotta marry them all. You just try them.
I guess that's the way to go, huh? Hey, dating a promoter, I know, can't be easy.
No, it's been, man. I dated a lot. I mean, if you consider dating, there's a difference between dating and dating.
And random nights after the club.
Yeah. Whatever that word is, whatever you want that word to be, I just call it the
after dating. I don't know. Whatever.
I don't even know.
Extra, I don't know.
Extra. I don't really know. We know the word, but we just let it go.
Yeah, that's probably smart.
Yeah, makes it work.
So how you been, man? What you been up to?
Been good. Just still doing it, still grinding. The window of opportunity is much more different than when I first moved to Hawaii.
Oh yeah. When did you move to Hawaii?
I moved to Hawaii August. I don't know if you're old enough. Do you remember when they shot Tyke, the elephant, at the circus? Do you remember that day?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
I moved here the day after because when I got off the plane, it was on every single newspaper cover. It was when I got off the plane, that's all they were talking about.
Oh, that's the easy way to remember.
Yeah, I moved here the day after that
Tyke got killed.
Tyke got killed.
So Tyke got taken out and Rick Rock enters the village.
I was crazy though. I was pretty crazy with that. Yeah. So yeah. I moved here. I want to say that's August. I want to say it's like August 16th or something like that.
Well, I guess the circus never stopped then once you got here.
It was pretty wild though. I was pretty traumatized how they shot us.
Yeah.
Brought him in the sheet, but yeah.
So what? We're
90. What was that? 93. Oh, wow. 95. That was 95.
Okay. And what? Did you come here just to promote, or were you a promoter previously, or?
No, I was a promoter. So here's the fun story. So I was promoting way before that. I was doing San Francisco, San Jose. I was doing half big room parties. We were doing like in San Jose, there's an area called Santa Clara Street. It's probably about 7 streets up from San Jose State. Oh. And there were a whole bunch of different clubs there. Back in that day, I was promoting this place called San Jose Live. And
I went to that.
Yeah. The San Francisco 49ers They owned that. They were like, all the players own that. Ronnie Lott, Bryce,
Oh
all of
wow,
them own that.
that place
And,
was sick. Yeah,
yeah. So
I
like I
went
went to it
there.
quite a bit. It was crazy. That was a big club.
Yeah, it was huge, and it was yeah, I remember. And there, yeah, we my kickboxing coach fought at close by, and we went there after. And that was like the first time I went to a mainland club. It was
Yeah.
San Jose Live. Yeah, it was sick.
That was dope because in that middle of that club was a boxing ring. You remember there's a boxing ring, the
Yeah,
dead.
yeah, exactly.
And then there was like all the bars and games around it. And on the second
Yeah,
floor around it, there were all different clubs, like a comedy club.
yeah.
I was tripping out. And it was pretty crazy that even back then that place was, there were probably 12 nightclubs in a 3-block area, and they were all full, like completely packed.
Yes, I remember. The thing I remember about that is weird because I clearly remember there's this Filipino haole girl working the beer tub, and me and my cousin, like, we were young and just green and not knowing what to do. And I drank maybe like as many beers as I could just because she opened the bottle, and like she's wearing this tight shirt, and I was just like, bro, this is the best thing ever. Get another beer.
You were going,
yeah,
for pervert 101, yeah?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yo.
So funny. Well, anyway, so I was doing that already prior to that from 89. So like 89. And I was doing all the big radio back then. I was doing KML, Wild. That's why even to this day, like all the guys that I know now, they're all OGs. They still, some are still in the game and some aren't. And then we came here and we did a show. Do you remember Matt Young?
Yes, I do. Yep.
Matt Young had called because at that time I was working with Warren G and Rectangle. So I was working with them for some other stuff, but I knew them so close that I said, I want to do your very first concert ever. Oh. After he got signed, after Regulate came out, they gave me the rights to do it.
Warren G?
Warren G.
Okay.
So, if you remember, Matt Young had the Big Man's Camp. You remember the Big Man's Camp? It was the Shaquille O'Neal Big Man's Camp, and he had R. Kelly, Salt and Pepper, Coolio. Remember that show that we did over here?
I do. I was young. Yeah.
Yeah, we did it. And I says, I'll tell you what, let us buy into that show. So we bought in, and I put Warren on that show. So that was R. Kelly, Warren G, Salt and Pepper, and Coolio. That was at the Blaisdell. So we did that. We did really well. He let us buy into it. I think we paid, back then it was super cheap. I think we put in like 20 grand all in. For that whole
that's crazy.
Then we made our money and we did good. So me and my crew, there was 5 of us. My company back then was called 5-Star Entertainment. 5-Star Entertainment. We did really good. We were only supposed to stay 4 days, but we said, we'll still stay. So we did so good. We sold out. We made the money. I said, let's stay an extra 3 days. So we paid for everything. And then Matt paid for our rooms. And that night that we went out, no, the night before it was funny. Before the show, we went out to Studebaker's.
Oh, okay. That was where Oceans was, right?
Yeah, where Oceans was.
Yeah.
Because we're all just having a good time, and people were like tripping up because no one was we were just buying drinks. You know how we do now, being dumb and buying everybody drinks. We're just buying 6 drinks. Hey. Then the local dudes are kind of like
hating.
Yeah. But then there was a girl there. I don't know if you remember, it was her name was Maria Mejias. She was a waitress. She was one of those pretty things. At the time, I didn't know she was dating James Roche at that time. She ended up being friends and it's kind of whatever. She's talking to us and we're tipping her real good. She goes, oh, so what do you guys do? Find out what we did. And she goes, long story short, she's all, you gotta meet my boyfriend and his friends. They're opening up this nightclub. And I was like, that's kind of weird, right? I was like, that's weird. So he was like pitching me kind of whatever. So anyways, I get a call from Ronnie.
Oh my God.
I get a call from Ronnie. Well, okay, whatever. It's like,
was it Rhythm House or
it was
Groove?
This was prior to Rhythm House.
Oh, Groove.
I moved here to do Rhythm House.
Oh, okay.
So we did all that. He offered me and I was just like laughing. I was like, okay. And I finally I met with him. We did some talking. And then when I finally got back, I don't know if he did some research on me or kind of whatever. I came back to the Bay and then I got a phone call at my office. And then they had asked me, oh, what would it take? And I told them what it would take. I think what it was, you know what? You pay for my place. I want this much money. you pay that my salary, and you pay for my first 3 months of wherever I don't know where I'm staying at, whatever, just to make sure that if it didn't work out, it wasn't on my dime.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did that, took care of that, and then I hung up. So I said, this is what I want. Following next day, there was a bank wire. He wired money into my account. The bank called me and said the money was there.
Whoa.
And I was like, okay. So
Okay, wait, stop right there. Ronnie is responsible for Rick Rock being in Hawaii.
Yeah, Ronnie was the one that moved me
Wow.
to be a part of Rhythm House. So I became the promotions director.
Wow, I had no idea. How did I not know that? That's insane.
Yeah, it was crazy because they were doing that other kind of stuff, but then we were responsible for you know how those guys are, right? The way they did business, all cash. And I was like,
oh yeah,
I don't understand. This has got me kind of, I had no idea right at that time. I'm just like,
local style promotion.
Yeah, I need this much money, right? I need this much money to do this. And there's cash. It's cash. I'm like, wait a second.
So you didn't have to claim it.
Whatever. The next time, I need some money to do this. It's cash again. I'm like, bro, you ain't got no checks. You don't have no account.
Hey, no paper trail.
No paper trail, right? So then I was there. So after when Chris Tarr was their GM, the white dude.
Oh, okay. I know who that is.
Yeah, Chris Tarr. Then he talked to me. He goes, okay, we can make this happen. I says, dude, I can flip this place right now. I can guarantee you I'll make every single night packed. All it takes is a little bit of radio. And then I went and I talked to the radio station, and they weren't ready. The radio station wasn't ready for someone like me, a mainland guy that knows how to do radio, that knows exactly what every cost is, what you said. I already knew that because I had done radio. I said, well, here's the deal. The Rhythm House holds, literally on the wall, it holds 84 people.
Yeah.
That's what it says, 84 people, right?
And the roof was like low.
Yeah, super low. And it had like these things. So I want to be able to I want to buy radio package for you, but I want to make it work. Can you scale it down for me? She goes, well, how much is your budget? I go, well, I just told you it holds 84 people. We charge $10 at the door. So every night I'm going to make $840 if I pack the house. So how about this? Can you do me on a trial run? And I want to spend radio for 2 nights, Friday, Saturday. I want to spend $500 and then $500. So $1,000 for 2 nights of radio. They didn't have it. They didn't even have a presents package at the time. No entertainment venue was buying a presents package. It was just like Cutter Ford or place, some place like that. So they didn't even know what. So I had to help them kind of structure how it would work.
Live liners and all that.
Yeah, all that stuff. Right. So I says, and then they're like, oh, so when it threw them off because they're like, okay, well, we'll do this for you, but can you put together like the script and then I'll have someone produce it? I go, no need. Just let me know when I can get into the booth and I'll do it myself. And they were like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'll do it. Just give me access to your studio and let them record me and then just give me the voice work. And they're like, oh, okay. Because I go, there's a cost for that. And at that time, they're probably saying there was a cost for it. Yeah. But I'm like, that's fine. I'll do it myself. And then that was when they freaked out. They were just like, wow, your stuff is really mainlandish. That's what they said, mainlandish. I go, well, I'm from mainland. I just moved here like 2 weeks ago. So it was cool. And then we started to do, I mentioned to Ronnie that these other guys that you guys should, because everyone was still doing those one color flyers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I told him we should do this from the Bay. And then he called another friend that was in LA. Then we started to do color flyers. We were the first one to do color flyers on the island, both sides. Wow. Real thick, real heavy. They were ugly. Like, dude, it was like chalkboard, 8th grade kind of stuff, but they were full. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's the story, Ronnie. 95.
Wow.
Talked to Ronnie, we came here, made Rhythm House happen. And before you know it, it's packed every single night of the week. 100.
Yeah. Did you work with him at the Groove?
No, I was already at the Groove part. We kind of had a falling out for some issues and stuff like that. So then that's when I broke off and I did the club with James. If you remember
James Coles.
James Coles.
Oh, he's still doing stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Back then,
what club was that?
It was called the Mix. It was basically where the Hokua building was on Ward.
Oh
It was
wow.
the old Taj Mahal Buy Me Drinky Bar. It was a dope spot. We packed that place too. We packed it because it was just a dope venue. It was super packed. And then Ronnie did that. Then Ronnie opened Groove. I think I did 3 concerts of the Groove. I did one of the most infamous ones, if you remember. I did two live crew and DJ Cool. You remember that night?
I heard about that night. I didn't go.
Yeah, the 2 live crew girls gave DJ Cool's DJ a blowjob in front of fucking 2,000 people.
Oh, I do remember that.
That was a Pro Bowl weekend. I did that, sold out. I was like, it was great. I thought I was going to jail. I swear I thought I was going to jail. I swear to God, for nudity and lewd act. And I was like, oh my God.
Put on live porno.
Yeah, all porno. And but what was crazy was when I was at Rhythm, I had to rewind real back. At Rhythm, I had such a great check. This, you're gonna blow your mind. I had such a great relationship with hip hop artists, all because of San Francisco. So Blackstreet's manager called me and said, "Hey Rick, we're gonna be in Honolulu. We're gonna be staying overnight because we have a gig in Japan, and we have the Fugees with us. I want to. Can you put together a show, because they wanted to do something as a practice show before they got to Big Japan." And I says, "Well, shit, what's it going to cost me?" You know, me in my mind, I'm like, fuck, Blackstreet, Teddy Riley, Fugees. Fuck, that's like 10 room. You know what I mean? He goes, "Rick, you get the building, make sure it doesn't hold more than 1,000 people. Pay for our rooms, and we'll cover everything else. We want to be charge you for the show." Yeah. So anyways, I blow it up. I get military. I do everything I can. Guess how many people fucking showed up to Blackstreet?
How much?
Fucking 35, 40 fucking people paid, and like less than 100.
Wow.
And then I had Fuji. I had Wyclef Jean, fucking Lauryn Hill, and Prague.
Oh, this was before they blew up?
This was just as they were starting to blow up. Yeah. No. Yeah. But just imagine that. I had Blackstreet and the Fugees, and I did 150 people.
Oh man.
Hey, I profited. I made money.
Hey, that's the main thing. And you got like pretty much an intimate show with fucking some Grammy award-winning artists.
Well, they weren't Grammys back then. They were hits.
Eventually.
They were Billboard hit guys.
Yeah.
That was pretty wild, man. That was pretty wild. So fast forward back into that, you know, we did the Groove, we did their other stuff, and then, you know, that was when the time had kind of like shifted, because that was when, at that time, there were that many promoters. There was just me,
Como
Lo.
Yeah.
Como Lo was the other promoter. Flash and Maddie had just kind of started, and Soulja was still in the game. Soulja was in the game.
Oh, I don't even remember. Oh, I do remember.
Yeah,
Soulja.
Alika Winters and Kalai Miller.
Yeah.
They were doing the $5 pitches and rubber
rubber slippers. Yeah.
So, I used to trip because it was like my crowd and their crowd were completely different, but we played the same music. They would have like all the surfers, all the surf hotties, and that they just had that crowd, it was that crazy crowd, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I remember they did stuff at the Cannon Club by Diamond Head, and
yeah, I used to go
to that. It was insane.
They were that, I don't even know what you want to call it, but they were just hit.
Surf.
Rich surf. Yeah. Kaneohe, Hawaii Kai, fucking just rich kid, rich surfer kid.
Yeah. And I remember going to those. Yeah.
And those were, dude, they would just get drunk. I wouldn't believe how much alcohol they would go through.
Yeah.
Unbelievable the alcohol they would go through. I don't know how people didn't even get DUIs that come out of those parties. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, especially where they're located.
Yeah, but then again, like I said, that was a different time. Completely different time. Liquor commission was different. Structure was different. Clubs were, there were a lot at that time.
Yeah.
Clubs, and then after that, you figure, right when World Cafe opened on Nimitz.
Oh, at Restaurant Row. Oh, on Nimitz.
Okay. And that was the year.
That's where Groove was, right?
Yeah, that was the Groove. That was after that.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if you remember when the other promoters that came in that started to make a lot of noise was J Dope. Remember J Dope?
Yeah.
Was the original Asian guy. J Dope and Psyche.
Yeah, I remember them. Yeah. Because
Yes,
Jado was running what was it, Xylos for a little bit?
he was doing Xylos, but then remember
Yeah.
that was when Sean Psyche did the Kaizo speed gear crew.
Yep.
That's
Kaizo speed gear. Yep.
Kaizo, and then he brought on Ray
Ray
Sauce
Sauce and
and all. So they were
Dave
like,
guys.
yeah, there were
What
four
was Dave them
moguls.
called? Yeah.
Moguls.
Moguls, that's right. Moguls
So
Entertainment.
there were 5 different Asian groups
Yeah.
going after the same
Yeah.
market. So Psyche, I applaud Psyche for, he did his little, whatever.
Nobody remembers that, bro. He was a good promoter.
The whoopty, he was I call him the wazoo, because he was smart to be the head of that little
Yep.
group.
Yep. He still is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of interesting. So I gave him kudos for that. That was tough because I did a night with them. It was called Triple Threat. It was at World Cafe, and it was J Dope, Kaizo Speed Gear, and Rick Rock Productions. And that night was absolutely unbelievably off the hook. Every floor you could see the floor over there. It was like, and it was it was weird for them because their crew, they don't like black people. Whether it's racist, I don't know if it's a racist thing or military, but whenever you get people that love hip hop music, there's gonna be people that love the booty, and then there's gonna be obviously military and black guys, and they don't know how to. It's hard for them to interact.
Oh.
With the local, it's you still see it to this day. I'm sure you do. You still see it
yeah. Yeah.
So it's kind of like when I fast forward into all of that after we panned out of the mix, and a night that happened at the mix was crazy because we did the Wu-Tang Clan was good friends of mine. They did a big show on Island, and then every single one of them came to the mix after that.
Oh wow.
Got into a crazy type thing, and then they ended up calling. You know who they ended up calling out?
Who's that?
Uncle Billy from Maximum Security.
Oh wow, that's not good.
Yeah. And it was mayhem. It was like within an hour it was mayhem, and then I had to protect. I said, no, they don't know what's going on. They're just drunk. They don't think, and it was crazy. It was just one of those crazy. It was crazy.
That sounds insane.
But it would be like different because it was different. Then that was the same weekend that. Do you remember back in the day they used to have them MTV spring break bashes and shit like that?
Oh yeah.
So that was the same weekend that we had here, and they did it at the Kahala Hotel. So
they did one here?
Yeah, they did one. They did 2 here. So that same weekend, I had Bill Bellamy. Remember Bill? He was the
host.
He was in the club. Funkmaster Flex was in the club. Lord Tariq Peter Guns was in the club. Next, remember Next? YFE.
Yeah.
All these people were in the club. And it was about to just get mayhem because these locals were just, I had black people on one side and I have these local guys on this side and not knowing how to act. And to make it even worse, I think that night the promotion was St. Ives beer for $2.
Oh, straight 40s.
That we took those off right away after the first week because it's like we had 0 bar sales because all you had to do was drink 3 of those. You spent $6 and you're pretty much fucked up, and no one was drinking anymore. Bar sales were like this. We're not gonna sell them no more. We're not gonna sell.
Wow, that's insane. When did you start working at Zanzibar?
Zanzibar was after World Cafe.
Okay.
After World Cafe.
Honestly, like in all the clubs I went to in Hawaii, Zanzibar was sexy at one point. Like that's a sexy club. Even Rumors was pretty nice.
Yeah.
The club itself, not the people that went towards the ending, but those 2 clubs were sexy at one point. Like Zanzibar was cool.
They were the exact because it was like, I think it was almost an $8 million club when it was Maharaja. Everything that's all inside there.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of different because I had to try different things because I was just a promoter. And the only time that I worked I was the marketing director for Ronnie, which I was paid by the club. Yeah. And then other than that, I worked for myself with James. And then the second one was I was the marketing director for World Cafe. And I was at World Cafe, but I was able to promote. So I had a paycheck. And then I also got a night.
At the club.
At the club. So that was kind of cool. So you figure that when that died out, I went so yeah, when it was first it was Zanzibar was first. Zanzibar was first. I took their Thursdays. And the funny story was
infamous Thirsty Thursdays at Zanzibar.
It was a legendary.
It still is, bruh.
I asked Big T's.
Okay.
Big T's was on the radio, and I says, "Hey, bro, you want to do Thursdays with me?" And then he's like, "Okay, hold on, let me check." And then he went to go ask his boss, Fred Rico, and Fred Rico told him it's never gonna work. Thirsty Thursdays over there is never gonna work. So T's passed on it. I said, "Okay, fuck it." So I just did it myself. I went over there, and I told the owners, I said, "This is what I need to make it work." And they gave me for 3 weeks $2 drinks. I mean, everything was $2. Everything. Dude, the second week, the line was already off the hook. And then after the third week, we gave it to him one more time. And then after that, we just went. And on the fourth week, that's when I bought the Presents. I bought the Presents. And then after 1 month, it was either 1 month or 2 months. I want to say it was 1 month. I told the radio station, I want to go live broadcast. Do we have that ability?
That's where I remember.
Yeah. And then they were tripping because they were like, okay. They had to figure an amount for it. Then I got Sam the man to do it. Then I had to bring someone in to handle the live broadcast inside. But that single most sexiest component for Rick Rock Productions, for 4 hours I was live. I turned on at 10 o'clock and I didn't go off the air till 2.
Yeah.
Live, commercial free. Everything that you heard came from the club. Even
the DJs and everything.
Wu-Chang.
I remember, because I think that's where I started to hear your voice and figure out who you are. This was before me promoting and all that stuff. But I remember the live broadcast from a club, and I would always think, like, how could anybody do that? Like, how is that happening?
But you know what the craziest part is? The craziest part. So we ended up doing that, right? And then a lot of all my famous DJs, you know, E-Man, Jazzy Jim, all these guys, I would bring them in, right?
Yeah.
And they would be like, they're like, "What do you mean you're live?" Like what? Like, well, they thought it was the way they did the mainland was different. And then when they came here, they were tripping out. They're like,
"You're really live."
No, but they were like, "So let me get this straight, Rick. You're the promoter. This is the club. The radio station's here. But there's no one from the radio station here except the guy that's handling the broadcast. DJ Wu-Chang's playing the music, and you're the MC live on air on a radio station neither one of you work for." I go, "Yeah." He goes, "That's unheard of. That's never, ever been done in the history of radio in the United States. Nowhere." No
and you were live on the mic?
Live on the mic, live everything.
Okay, wait. Back it up right there. Okay, I know you on the mic, and I know what Rick Rock MC event is like. How did you get away with that live on the radio?
Because when we were live on the radio, I was able to control 80% of my cursing.
How did, like, it's not just the cursing, it's the subject.
Oh no, but yeah, it was
the
really
content.
Cool. Yeah, they didn't mind it because at that point when they were reviewing it, like Kid Leo and Sam were just like, "Dude, Rick is kind of like the Howard Stern of shock radio for nightlife."
Yes. 100%.
Like, he's dancing 100% on, you know what I mean? Like the things I would say were like on the line, because now you can say bitch and now you can say ass, but then you couldn't really say that. You can't say the F word, but now it's a lot more lenient with a lot of radio, you know? So yeah, there were, don't get me wrong. There were a couple times where, you know, doing a little bit of this, extra, and I would say something and then Leo would call me, he goes, "Dude, you know what you just said about 5 minutes ago?" I go, no, I didn't. Why?
I'd be in the club at your events, and then I'll be like, "Did Rick just say that?" Like, I'll be like, "Oh, he's nuts."
But that's just that was the factor that I brought that was completely different from anybody else. It was shock value. I made my whole job as a promoter and an MC is to get the crowd to react. Like people would scream, you know, I would relate to them at all the levels individually, you know what I mean? And they would they called that back then, it was a call or response. I would say something and then they would respond to it. So,
well, your style was often duplicated. I guess you mentored a lot of MCs that are currently and not in the game. One of them being Reed, RIP Reed, Real Deal Reed. But he always told me from when I met him that you kind of mentored him and hone his MC skills. Quan, like a bunch of people you kind of mentored, and maybe not the shock value that you had, but definitely the same style and the crowd participation, as well as the getting them hype, getting them to drink, getting them manipulating a crowd. Like a MC is very important, and it's kind of a hard skill to have, and it's very kind of rare nowadays. I mean, we use Quan now, and Hoppa always jumps on the mic, but it's definitely something that's not easy to do. I can't do it.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's kind of different because the MC is a guy, he's actually what it means. He's the master of ceremonies. But a lot of people take that wrong. I go out and I see, like throughout the years, I'd see, and I kind of like, sometimes I tell them, like, if you're a promoter and you're a group of promoters and you have a deal with a nightclub, and the nightclub, so you're in business as a promoter, your business is to get people through the door. Excuse me, one quick second. Honey, I'm on the podcast. Call me back, okay? Bye-bye.
Happy 3 years, 3 months. Sorry.
What I'm saying is, like, so so both the club and the promoter are supposed to collaborate to advertise for that particular night. So you guys advertise, whether you flyers, you do all that, right? You get people in. And then the club has bartenders, and their job is to serve the alcohol, right? So if the promoters make a lot of money, but the bar doesn't make any money, there's no longevity.
Yeah.
And obviously, if there's no crowd, there's no alcohol sales. So that was my biggest pride that I've always did. And that's kind of why I was pretty much successful with all the other clubs, because I told them, if it doesn't pan out, like, you have to win, I have to win. You know what I mean? Like when we were doing Zanzibar, a perfect example was, I was pretty fortunate to do about 1,000 people on Thursday, and that for almost 10 years.
Yep.
10 years. And those are paid numbers. And a lot of people trip out because I go, not that many people. I think Hanson and a few people know. The money that I make, this is what I do for a living. I don't have another job. I have tax returns for all the years I promoted. I reported my income. And then, so when we were doing that, so I was making that, but at the same time, so if I made 10 grand at the door, Zanzibar was making 16, 17,000.
Easy.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Easy. So that was kind of like, when you start to see that, they're happy. They don't care about anything. They give me whatever I want, right? As long as it's happy, you know, as long as there were a couple of times that it was like they were making 8 grand, but for them to be able to still make, you figure it out, $30,000 minimum, just say it's 8 grand for 4 weeks. That's $32,000. I'm paying their rent. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. Everything else is gravy. Yeah.
Everything else is gravy. And, you know, I had my crew. It wasn't just on me. At first then I brought in Udasai to MC, and I had like Jared. I had all the boys come in and do their thing. And I only had one DJ. I had Wu Chang. At one time I had Mike Galmichi. Yep. And then I had just DJs that come through. Oh, Mike D. I had Mike D.
Mike
too.
D. Yep. Mike D was your guy. Yeah.
Mike D. And then when I moved to Pipeline, that's a crazy story. When I started to do the Pipeline parties.
You did Tuesdays there, correct?
No, I did Fridays at Pipeline.
Fridays. You did Tuesdays or did you do Thursdays? Towards the ending.
I did Thursdays at Zanzibar, Fridays at Pipeline, and then I did Rain. I don't know if you remember Rain. Mm-hmm. I did Sensation Saturdays at Rain. All 3 of those were live broadcasts for 4 hours.
Oh wow!
But
I remember you collaborated with AGN with a Pipeline Rain party at one time.
Yeah, we did. They were. That was when Ronnie was always really big into emulating the styles of the Artist Group Network Los Angeles. You know, like those guys over there. He loved to dress up. We got that part, up the suits and all the fabric. I just couldn't. The fabric was just too much, because you had to go there you had to go there like the day before and put all that stuff up.
Yeah, and then I've done that.
and then when you're drunk, you're trying to pull it all down. You don't know where anything next day. You lose
Google boxes. I was doing all that shit.
But that's why the low man on the totem pole has to do all that.
Me and Peter.
But like I said, everything evolves. So, like, you know, people follow, people see, and I think that was a good time. I mean, Ronnie, kind of well-tuned. I was laughing because I go, oh, I see. When I saw him one time when you guys were doing that one, it was a Bud Light party. I remember when Peter Maharaja had that funky room at that hotel. It wasn't even a club. It was just a room.
Oh, at Marriott?
At the Marriott.
Yeah, it was a Marriott. Yeah.
When I went there, he goes, yeah, Rick, come down. I went down. I go, what is this? It's like we're in a hallway. We're in a big ass hallway.
Yeah.
But it was packed.
Cool. Yeah, that was good fun. I remember that.
So
they call it Maharaja too, huh? Go figure.
I don't know. That guy's crazy.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Yeah, nobody's not too much. I mean, it is what it is. People come, people go. And now that you see it, it's just like, I just kind of like, I don't really wish that how we did it would come back, because it would just never be that way, because the mentality of kids now is not it's.
Yeah.
It doesn't compare. People now are really these children are narcissistic in life, and all they care about is this. This is all they care about.
100%.
100%.
All they care about is what they can show people on the other end of their phone. They're not in the moment.
No, we can't even,
like,
it's crazy.
Yeah, I have that problem every day. Like, we had a bunch of girls at the club recently, and they're in VIP, and they're like popping bottles and all this, and all they were doing the whole time was live on Instagram, like showing everybody that what they're doing, and they're not even enjoying the moment. They're not even enjoying what they're doing. They're too busy trying to show people that they're having fun doing something cool. They're not even enjoying the cool shit that they're doing.
I agree 100%.
Super annoying.
Oh, but it goes with both ways, because you figure, if you read it back, these people are, one, they're not from Hawaii.
Yeah.
So if you ever follow any of them, you're going to see the whole thing, the airport. They're going to show the beaches. They're going to show the Sheba. They're going to show everything that's touristy, right? To make other people, wherever they're from, jealous because they're in Hawaii. And, oh, yeah, we're turning up. We're doing this. I mean, but
they're not in Hawaii. They're on the phone in Hawaii.
But that's the way it is. I mean, you figure if we took it back to when we were 18, 2 different decades, but we weren't raised that way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you're only accustomed to what you can have. You know what I mean? Like, all those people are sitting around someone's bottle that they didn't pay for, but they're acting like it's theirs. So they're lying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, and
what do they call that? Bottle hawks?
I don't know. I call it
bottle hawks.
And I see the same thing too, where you see the girls and the guys, they got the Gucci belt and they got that $1,000 suit, but they wear that son of a bitch every week. You know what I mean? It's like the same suit every week.
Yeah.
Every week. Say, I saw that outfit already, bro. You know what I mean? It's like, put a different T-shirt on.
Yeah. You know? That's 3 paychecks right there, man.
3 paychecks, bro. You're already doing the same thing. But, we can sit here and we can laugh at all of them, and I just been in the game long enough that I can see 3 different decades of how it's changed, how hospitality has changed, how the interaction has changed, and how much more the price of alcohol has been elevated.
Oh yeah.
It's ridiculous, because back then a bottle was only like $120. Now it's like $600. Like, dude, how do you will never catch me that in my life ever buying a bottle of fucking anything that's worth over $100. You will never. You know what I mean?
You get the same bottle, you go Safeway, is $34.
Exactly.
Drinking in a parking lot.
I would never in my life do that. That's ridiculous.
But then you can be in VIP and Instagram your friends that you're there with the $300 bottle.
That's absolutely pathetic. I see it when I went. Where was that? This was about 5 years ago. When I want to say, was it Aria? It was either Aria or Cosmo, one of those. It was one of those nights where there was a scam artist thing. And I sat there. Albanier was there, and even what's his name was there? Dave, Biggest Dave.
Mm.
And we were walking through, and the guys, all the guys, hey Rick, we'll take care of you. You want this section right there? I go, dude, I don't need a section that big. There's 3 of us. I don't need to look like an idiot. You know what I'm saying? If you sit there, it's an automatic charge. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I don't know where I'm going to charge you. I go, but still, I go, dude, you make the money. Put someone else there. I can stand right here I'm good right here. I put my thing. Can we get your bottle? No, I don't. And there's this dude. So I'm sitting here. I'm here drinking like this, drinking my Bud Light, and then I had a shot. And I look over here, and there's this, I want to say he's like an Arabian dude or Indian guy or this dude, Tad, he had a white bathtub filled with ice, filled with a bathtub. It was like on some roller thing, like a fancy, like girls take sexy baths in them, but it's filled with ice, and it had 4 Magnum crystals in there, a shitload of other ones. There must have been 30 bottles in there. 30.
Oh shit.
30 bottles. 30 bottles. And each one guaranteed $600.
Oh yeah.
And it had all these beers and then all the Red Bulls and all this stuff. And I forget what's her face. What was her name? I knew the waitress, I forgot her name. And then I go, hey, who is that guy? She goes, oh, just some Prince guy or some rich dude like that. I go, hey, how much is that stuff? She goes, wait, I'll show you. So she was gonna, and she just started ringing up. She goes, look. And when she showed me, dude, it was like this long, Dad. It was like the receipt. And you guess how much it was for all of that?
20 grand.
No, keep going.
100 grand.
There was $137,000 worth of liquor. And
they probably didn't even drink it all.
Dude, they didn't. They were just they were wasting it and shaving it.
Oh man.
But that was when, to my mind, I'm like, what an idiot. Because and it was funny because the general manager knew who I was. Because when I was doing, so remember I was doing World Cafe?
Yeah.
When I was doing World Cafe, that was, at that time, the terminology was a big room nightclub, big room. When I was doing that, and even into Pipeline, halfway Pipeline, Las Vegas never had big room clubs. They only had one. When I was doing, and it was called The Beach. It was about the size of Pipeline. But
Pipeline is big though.
Yeah, and it had a beach theme, volleyball court, sand, all the stuff. They had the beach. No other place in Vegas yet had a big room nightclub. So they tried to recruit me. And they're like, hey, we'll give you this and stuff. It was like a lot of money, bro, a lot. And I thought to myself, I'm gonna either do 3 of 3 things. One, I'm gonna die from either drinking or doing a shitload of drugs. I'm gonna die. 2, I'm gonna end up being a womanizer and get some kind of disease and die again. Or, you know what I mean? Or I'm just gonna gamble. Everything I make, I'm just gonna gamble and I'm gonna waste my life. Because those are the 3 things, right? Sex, drugs, rock and roll, gambling. All that. So I made the wise decision not to go. I says no. But John Kamaheli, who was at you forgot that nightclub, Blue Zebra.
Oh, okay.
He got to go. Delbert Dumlow got to go. Toma went. Toma went. He got
I visited him up there a couple times.
He made it big for his name.
Playboy Club, right? Or Palms.
Palms. He was at Palms.
Yeah.
But then that's when it started. When Palms did it and everybody else started to catch on, they decided that, man, there's money in this. There's money in overselling alcohol to kids and charging fucking dude. And then they obviously had the money to bring in, Paris Hiltons and stupid people that people don't really, just you're gonna sit there and pay $50 to see somebody that's 100 yards away. You must be
drinking alcohol and leaving.
Must be smoking crack.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the difference between that I kind of like see now. And, it doesn't help that through this pandemic that we can't really do anything because like even, like San Francisco now and San Jose and LA, they're still having they're not 100% back, but at least they're having interaction, The money's not all there. A lot of people lost a lot of money in their businesses. A lot of people closed their stuff when it comes to entertainment, so what are we going to do?
Yeah.
That's crazy though. Yeah. But that's a funny story about the whole big room thing. Like it was crazy.
Yeah.
Hawaii was kind of like almost the leader into big rooms. That's why when do you remember Ava?
Yeah.
Ava went first with John and all them. And that's how, when you go to Vegas.
He used to be at W when we were there.
Yeah. But he was the guy when he went to Vegas, he got the head guy. That's how he started pulling all the Usos from here into Vegas.
Yeah.
Like all the guys, all the guys from over here that could leave, that were young enough, that didn't have families or whatever, they all went. They all got good positions.
Yeah.
Super good positions back in Vegas.
His guy Andy would always host the like the celebrities be their personal bodyguard.
Uh-huh.
And I would always meet them because me and Andy were close. So I met like a bunch of like I met Reggie Miller, GSP. I met like Hart and Huntington. I met a bunch of Kanye. It was cool because that was Ada's connection, right?
Yeah. And that
Yeah.
he was funny because he was Celine Dion's a bodyguard for years. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, Celine Dion.
Yeah.
I ran into them, but yeah, it's just so funny what the timing wise and with everything going on now with how Hawaii is, and it's to the point where even Aloha Lani, I mean, name a club. There's not even a nightclub in town. Name one. I mean,
Yeah. There's nothing.
District is one.
Yeah.
And
That's it.
Oh,
Sky?
Hulas. Sky's not. I don't think I would call Sky a nightclub. The way it's set up.
Yeah. Or what about what's the other where they do the drag show? Scarlet.
Oh yeah, that's a nightclub. That's a nice.
That's
place.
a club, right?
They put some money into that place. That's a nice place.
We were there before Scarlet when it was fixed with Mikey.
Yeah,
that was one of my favorite events. It was right when I got divorced, and I was with Mikey every Friday.
Wasn't that? And you know what? That was actually a really cool place when HP was in session.
Yep. And First Fridays, we used to pack that place First Fridays. It was fun. That place was fun.
They just didn't put any money. They didn't put any money into it. They just used the venue. Scarlett put a shitload of money into it.
Yeah, this definitely doesn't look like Fix. No.
No. It looks. Yeah. It was a nice room. They made it sexy.
So Fix was like my clubhouse, and Mikey, like me and Mikey are close, so it was like, for me, it was a perfect storm to be in that spot at that time in my life with Mikey, because we got into a whole bunch of shit. Yeah, that was a fun time.
Chia brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I had good times with him too when we were doing like a couple of things there. It was just like I said, it was just, I commend the part where you guys are still all together, you, Hanson, and Ryan Goldenchild, because sometimes it's really tough to have partners in this game.
Yeah. With us, it's good because our friendships are solid. So I can tell Hanson how I feel if something is bothering me. He many times told me how he feels if something's bothering him. And our communication's been spot on. But we're friends. Like, we'll hang out outside of the club. Like, we were just at the Super Bowl party together. You know what I mean? It's like, so our relationship is solid before any business. Granted, we met through business, but like it became a situation where I enjoy promoting with them because I get to see my friends every weekend, and I get to like visually see them, talk to them, especially during the pandemic. I miss them because we wouldn't be able to hang out.
No.
So I appreciate them more now than before, because now I get to see them. You know what I mean? And granted, we do promote together, but like, we're friends outside of the club, and yeah, it's been a long lasting business relationship we have together, and it's kind of cool because he knows what I'm thinking, I know what he's thinking, so we work well together. And now he has his new Hawai'i Events Unlimited production with the weddings and all that stuff, and he's changing the game. Like the shit they got going on and the stuff that they're doing is mind-blowing. Like,
it's awesome. I'm glad they graduated. But when I was saying that, I was meaning like throughout the times when I was promoting, from all of those times, I never had a partner. I did pretty much all my events by myself, single-handedly, along with my crew, which I paid as staff. But then there were a couple times where I co-opt like some other stuff, and it was just like I kind of had a tough time outside of that's the stuff that we did, but like where they feel that there's these things we should do this, and this. I'm like, and then I go, that's just, I go, dude, it's not going to work. I've tried that. We should this is what we should do. And I was just like, I don't want to sit here and argue about something that's that manini. Okay, do it. And then at the end, they're like, Yeah, that
Should
dude
listen to you.
should listen to me because I go.
Yeah.
It's all about track record. It's like we've done so many in a row. It's consistency.
Yeah.
And so half of the people that came because of me are going to expect this.
Yeah.
They're not going to expect you to go up there and play EDM because they're going to walk out the room.
Yeah.
You know, oh, but I got this dope ass EDM DJ. I don't care. I'm not an EDM guy. You can call G Spot for EDM.
Yeah.
You know, and it was
which is true. I mean, I was fortunate enough to work with you on a couple events, and I know the one major one we did together was that Pipeline reunion, which in my opinion, I was super stoked you even asked us to come on.
Yeah.
And that was one of the funnest events I've ever done, just because of the nostalgic aspect of it, as well as the old school people that came out for it.
Yeah, it's good to see everybody. I haven't seen
that was fun.
And that's kind of like why I say when we do kind of like reunions and kind of like the stuff that we do now with James, it's kind of like there's no place now that there's, you could kind of say the older crowd or that the old, everybody's just say the older crowd, but what do you mean by the older crowd? The people that were, what do you say? What I would say the cutting point, like once people get to 30 years old or 35, they're considered old because they won't go 35, 30, 30. They won't, once you get to 35, they won't go hang out at like a 21 and over club. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's no more place like that. That's why people that are 35, 40, 50, they're going to go to a bar, right?
Yeah.
They're going to go to a bar, they're going to go to a restaurant, drink wine, and have to, but if someone can fill the void and find somewhere, I think the best place, if one of these hotels would cough up a couple of their lounges and just do adult entertainment, 70s music, 80s music.
Lalo would be a good spot for that.
Yeah, they would kill it. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of like, but on certain nights and where they advertise, because sometimes, people come, hey, where should I go? Oh, even Mai Tais, you want to hear live music, you go to Mai Tais, but then again, you have the older people that get pushed to the back, and then the young kids at the hip, they're all, they get scared, they freak out when they start hearing some chee-hoos and fucking. Yeah. But I mean, if they could find like San Francisco, San Jose, mainland, there's places and lounges and bars or cafes where, older people are going to be able to go out. And that's kind of like our target, because you can see it now, like everybody wants the younger crowd. Oh, I want to go, but I want to hook up. Can I get a hookup? Can I get it for free? Can I do this? Can I do that?
Yeah.
We don't have that at our events with me and James now. We don't have that problem. They pay.
Because they have money. They're older.
That's exactly the point. They have money. I mean, there's a few out of the 100 or 200, there's that 10 that'll be like, oh, discount 10.
Put me on the list.
Yeah, they dropping names. They're dropping names and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, hey, I'll do it. You know what? Like if I'm at the door, I play rock, paper, scissors. But I'll tell you what, you beat me, I'll let you in free.
I tell them, you can tell me my last name and I'll let you in free. If you can't tell me my last name, then fuck off. Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, it's just time, being where I'm at with the entertainment, and there's still a lot left. There's still a lot left to do if you just kind of find a niche, because entertainment's never going to die. You just have to reinvent yourself and find out what people want. It's not going to be like every week people are going to be coming out Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But if you can hold down a really good event or a purpose once or twice a month and pull in some 500 people, 200 people, and just keep rolling, because that's kind of what everybody else seems to be doing, like right now, just kind of floating through and having a good time. Because I like what I do now. I mean, there's me and James, and there's three of us, and I don't have to be at my event no more. We start at 7 and we're done at 2. I don't have to be there all night.
Yeah. I like James. He came to the district and visited us like couple months ago.
Yeah. I told him to go over there to go.
I actually seen him at one of his events in Kaneohe at Bayview Golf Course.
Yeah, that was a pretty good night. Was that a busy night?
It was packed, but it got done like maybe like 10:30, and then it was empty.
Yeah, because that's the difference. Our crowd will come out for Pauhana. They'll come out 5.
Yeah. They were there early.
Yeah, they'll be there.
James was behind the turntables, and I'm like, oh shit, this
James is
United DJs. Yeah.
People don't know, but James has been DJing for like 40 something years. But
he's a
if you
beast.
ever,
Yeah.
James is probably one of the best DJs out on the island. He's smooth. And meaning what I say is when you listen to him mix, it's flawless. There's no scratches.
Transition. Yep.
There's
Exactly.
none of that crazy stuff. It's clean. It's
Yeah.
old school, old DJ clean. It's perfect on the
You know why? Because he had to deal with vinyl.
Yeah. He ran with the real thing. Like he goes that like even to this day, you will never hear him scratch. That's not his thing. You know, like how everybody does boo, boo, boo. He's not that guy. He's probably the smoothest transition DJ that came out of Hawaii.
Yeah.
And I always like laugh because he goes, "That's what I have you here for. You can do all that crazy stuff." And I'm like, I don't even like doing it. You know.
So you collab with them on a weekly basis?
Yeah. So every Friday I do Blue Tropics, which is right next to my house.
We visited you one time, me and my cousin. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of crazy, chill. And on Saturdays I collaborate with just me and James at Beach House.
In Kaneohe or
no, right here, Aloha Tower.
Aloha Tower. Oh, okay.
That's big. So I would do that one at Aloha Tower, and then I would probably looking at this. So this Sunday is President's Day.
Yeah.
James. So we're doing two. I'm doing 604 Ale House, the brand new sports bar in Schofield, the real big one, 604. It just opened like a month.
Yeah.
So I'm doing that early, and then I'm meeting Jay. Then we have the old school night at that taqueria at Kamakali, right across the street from Cheesecake Factory.
Oh.
The big room, because Monday's a holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'm kind of picking or choosing on where I want to do a Thursday something. But like I said, it's kind of, we're trying to learn to do early. You know, a lot of people you got an older crowd, but you got to do it like Pauhana to like 10, Pauhana to 11.
Yeah.
For me, it works because we got so used to like pandemic, you know, going home at closing at 10 o'clock.
Oh yeah, exactly. I kind of like going home early, to be honest.
It's tough. It's tough going home at 2 o'clock. You know what I mean?
Yeah, now I'm going home at 4, 5. Like, yeah. I remember. Okay, so you're collaborating with, and I remember one of the worst moments of my promoting career. We're doing a collaboration with a bunch of promoters for New Year's Eve. And you guys were doing the same thing, and we were kind of competing against each other. And I guess the two leaders or heads of each event kind of had disagreements or wasn't feeling each other, and it kind of trickled down. But like for me, we're cool with all the promoters on your guys' side. It was a weirdest situation ever. And I remember we were at
the
Blaisdell.
I still have a video.
Oh, you have a video of that?
You remember, because we were doing that, and then you guys were like, "Oh, doing that," and then it was. I says, "Oh, I got," because Ray was saying something, and I go, "Dude, don't worry about it. I got it. I'm smart." And then when they go, "Let's go over here and promote." And remember, I brought my megaphone. Megaphone?
Yeah, you guys had a megaphone, and then
you guys were like, "What the fuck is that?" And then the next day, you guys had a megaphone.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, but it was after the Journey concert, Journey, yeah, and it was funny because all of us are friends. Like the two leaders or the two guys running it, I guess, didn't like each other or whatever, but we're friends, so we're laughing. We're like trying to promote New Year's Eve at a different venue, and you guys are doing the same thing, but we're talking with each other. But it was weird. And then one of your guys hit Hapa with the sign. If you remember that, and that's when I got mad. And then,
it was that night was crazy though. And I go, dude, this is absolute. I go, dude, this is like, what's going on? And then Yamichi, and like I said, I mean, I'm not those two guys. Yeah, we all know who they are. It is what it is. But life goes on. It's a hell of a memory, and it was. Yeah.
And we're all friends, and we worked together since. But it was funny. We were doing a block party in Chinatown, and Mike Gomichi came with his video projector, projecting their New Year's Eve party on our thing. And
Yeah.
I didn't really care. And then somebody's like, oh, you got to stop him. I'm like, all right. So I tell Taylor, go over there and stop him. Just tell him, put it away. And he comes back all mad. And he goes, give me your knife. I'm like, why? He goes, just give me your knife. Because I have a pocket knife. So I give him my knife out. You better not stab anybody. So he's, I'll be back. So he goes over there and he's going to cut the cord of the projector. I was like, bro, it's like a gang.
It was super funny because it's like Mike would have never done all that stuff. I says, dude, I gave him all these tactics that we used to use in the Bay. And he's like, yeah, that's actually smart. I go, well, yeah, you got to, you have to have a generator. Then he goes and buys a generator. I go, these guys are like crazy right now.
Yeah, it got bad. Like it was just like trying to one up each other, and I didn't really care. You know what I mean? It's like that's my friends.
Like, yeah, I just want to go home. I was like, I'm done. I'm not a passing flyer out kind of guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're gonna go argue whose event everybody should come to, and then like me and you be drinking at the bar together after. Like I don't give a fuck.
It's just like, well, I guess that's kind of how, clicky everything got with everybody. It's clicky.
Yeah.
It was just kind of weird too, because you got to figure out when we were going for the crowd. I'll give you an example. So like you would back then you would pass out these flyers to this group of 5 girls, and they say, oh yeah, we're gonna go, but then they're also friends with the other promoter. Right?
Yeah.
So now, and then with the other promoter, so now they're like, oh, and I'm like, I would always say like, hey, I know, yeah, at least I go, just stop by if you can.
Yeah.
Just come by. So that's kind of like how that all worked out, right? Give flyers to them, give flyers to those guys, and make it rotate. Try to make it work. But man, if everybody would have listened to me, if you look, there was this article with the midweek. They came out. It was called the Kings and Queens of Nightlife.
I was in that. Yeah.
Yeah, we were in that.
Yeah.
Before that day that we had that shoot, I called a meeting at Dave and Buster's with all the promoters. I said, hey, let's all get together. I have this idea. And my idea, and who was there? Flash, Ronnie, everybody was there. Dave, they're all there. And I says, we should form a promoters association, and we should do things together. Like, put all what, and, and everybody was just like, I thought for sure it was a slam dunk. Like, we could still do our own thing, but we should do one huge event where we make a shitload of money. You know what I mean? Like, could you imagine right now, I'll give you an example. Can you imagine if Lele and Raymond Ray Jr. sat down and said, let's do an event as an example that had whatever his lineup was and whatever Lele's lineup was, put them fucking all together as one. And get this, instead of doing Bishop or where, go to the stadium, go to the stadium, do it, and do one. They would make more money together than they would separate.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Because we're all, it's just like the New Year's Eve, right? You're striving to bring everybody there.
Yeah.
Plus, you're going to get the ticket value and you're going to get the bar.
Yeah.
But they don't think that way. Do you see what I'm saying?
Well, that's kind of on a smaller scale what your pipeline reunion was. You brought a bunch of promoters together, and that was a fun night, man. That was a fun one.
It's one of those nights where you're like, most of the time that we all go together and we do the event, you're like, oh shit, can't really get too fucked up because we got to watch everything. And it wasn't even like that. We all just had a good time and got fucked up.
I got lit. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a fun night for me, man.
But, like, that's what I think it kind of like should be, so people can kind of see. But if there's a way to do something like that in the future where we can all get together at a much larger scale one time and really be able to take advantage of everything,
Let's do it.
Yeah, I tell people too, but there's so much going on and you got to kind of look as long as this thing lifts, I think there'll be some really good opportunity for a lot of things to happen, because people have been starved for so long, and the people that are still scared will come out.
Yeah.
They'll definitely come out. So it should be fun.
Well, I was talking to you earlier yesterday about one of the events you were a part of, which was one of my favorite events just attending. And that was the Maxim party. And I have never experienced anything like that at the time. And I remember we had to sign waivers just to go in there. And they had the hottest girls in America there. It had like multiple rooms. It had like a smoke screen with a projection on top. It was like the most well put together event. And it was so many different little things to do. It was like one of my favorite events like I've ever attended. And you were part of that back in the day.
It's easy whenever you deal with an entity like that. I don't know if that was NFL, Pro Bowl, or it was something big like that. When you deal with these other people and Maxim and like say who else were the other ones? There were luxury magazines. Their budget's unreal.
Oh yeah,
because of their sponsors. So they pretty much got money to burn. You know what I mean? They just got money. So they hire this, or they'll hire like still walkers, or they'll give you this room, and they'll give you all these really whatever brand that is that sponsors that or handles that. It just amazes me. Like when I was still back in the Bay, even little things just like club things and food and slides and ice loot. What are those ice sculptures that they put the alcohol in? It's all different. Like everybody, when we're a promoter and you want to tie yourself into all these people, always tie it into someone that's got money or budget, a brand with budget or a draw with budget. And that way you can it doesn't cost you anything, but there's more attraction on the ticket that you're serving. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, instead of just like us, we're like, oh, well, why should we come to your party? Well, shit. We have $2 drinks. We have $2 drinks.
Yeah.
Well, that's nothing. These ones will give you, you get this in the door, you get that, you get so much extra.
Yeah.
But if we can set yourself up with, it's just different now. It's 2020. Everybody's all about everything is interactive, TikTok and Facebook and IG and metaverse and Bitcoin. It's all over the place.
Yeah.
Yep. It amazes me that how much this thing right here.
Yeah.
It's hard to leave it alone. Do you ever feel lost? Like sometimes I leave it, I'm like, man, I feel like I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
My mom called, or I missed this.
It makes things safe. You don't have to actually talk to people or go up to them and put yourself out there and take a chance. Like I could do it on my phone, and if I don't get a response, delete. Or on to the next. You know what I mean? You're not embarrassed. You know what I mean? It's a good security blanket.
Yeah, is that what it's called? Security? I don't know.
I think so.
You know what trips me out, and this in my life, so I sit here and I go through my Instagram, and I go to my main page and I click on it, and it says my name, Rick Rock, and it says, where's it at? It says that I have 14,400 posts, right?
Yeah.
And I'm following about 4,400 people. I'm following them. Lord knows who the fuck they are. I don't know what the fuck they are, right? Right? I maybe follow them because I have an interest. Maybe they lift weights or they do whatever the fuck it is. But yet I'm only following 3,400 people. So I try to look at that, like when I do a post, and then you see how many people like it, right? I try to figure out of my 30, so I posted it and I know 3,400 people can see it, and I get 800 likes. I'm like, well, in my mind, I'm like, where the fuck are the other motherfuckers? Why don't they like my shit? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for me, okay, fuck, I don't give a fuck. But can you imagine these other people when you look at that, and then you click on their profile and it says they have 35,000 followers, million followers, really? Because if you ever look at that stuff, it doesn't ever pan out. Like you'll never see The Rock. I'll give you an example. The Rock. The Rock has 10 million, 50 million followers, but whenever he posts, you'll never see more than a million likes. So that algorithm's fucked up, right?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what are those numbers even like? Who's in charge of making those numbers real? That's kind of like
they should do away with all those numbers and see how popular these people are after. when you can't see what they got going on.
Or yeah, oh yeah, you can't see how many or the followers or the
Yeah,
take the
yeah,
likes.
yeah.
But
Right.
that's their gauge. Yeah, but that's their gauge. I think that's kind of like their
That's
needle.
how they get their dopamine. That's a addiction.
Dude, that well, you figure what's that guy? What's his kid? The gay kid out of couple, Bretman Rock.
Oh, he's killing it though.
Dude, you see his house?
No,
He got a mansion, bro. Off of
really?
yeah.
We better get some followers then.
Well, he's funny though because he's like
Yeah, he's funny.
he's that he's that gay Filipino guy, but he also speaks both that's what gets him. He's bilingual. He's funny as shit though. If you,
Yeah, and he doesn't. He's not afraid to do silly stuff or be embarrassing or like fall down in front. Like he just does his thing, and people, I guess, resonates with people.
that guy became so famous. He got his deal. He got makeup deals. He got all kind of
Yeah,
deals.
yeah, good for him, bro. That's awesome.
That's awesome. But it was so funny when I first met him at this bike show, and he was just like he was clueless. But I'm like, that's the kind of stuff you see here. You see these influencers. You see them, you invite them to. What do you think they're gonna do? You're gonna have to pay them to come. No, I'm not paying nobody nothing for you to come over here and hang out. It's dumb. Unless you're like,
I'll pay them to do some math problems, see if they can.
they don't get any of that shit. They're so stupid, man.
Oh, anyways, shit, we've been going over an hour, man, and
Whatever works. Like I said, I know it's kind of there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of things and it's different than.
I definitely got to have you back on because I got a whole shit ton more to talk to you about.
We should get a couple of people so that we can just kind of interact and bounce off each other because there's kind of like my mind only remembers so much of this, but then maybe let's say for instance maybe Hanson or Cy or these other guys have, and we can have like I'm
just afraid what's gonna come out.
Oh well, you know what? But that's the fun of it. I think that's.
We should do that. Do a promoters podcast, and
you call it
everybody's gonna get arrested the next day.
Yeah, we can have a little.
You're already gonna get audited for telling everybody that you fucking took cash for how many years?
No. I did get all of my things were audited.
Oh,
I think IRS. I have a big stack. I'll show you next time. I'll show you the big stack.
Yeah.
Of each year. But no, it'd be kind of cool to do like a little Knights of the Round Table of one.
That would be fun. We could figure that out. Yeah.
Because
we'd have to do that live though. We couldn't do it through a video. We'd have to be physically there.
Yeah, like and then
with alcohol.
Oh man, yeah. Well, I'll definitely get drunk off of that.
That would be fun.
For sure, but no, definitely.
Okay, BBJ, what's the question of the week?
All right, question of the week. I mean, we've heard some crazy ass stories already.
Yeah.
So the question of the week is, Rick, what is the craziest experience you've had at one of your events? Other than the 2 Live Crew blowjob.
Oh yeah, that was actually on that. Just to recap that, I was sitting there and I'm like, okay, first of all, now all of the 2 Live Crew dancers are butt naked, and then all of a sudden, Cool's DJ sitting on the DJ pad, just watching them dance while they're placing fruits like cherries into their private parts and spitting them into cups in front of 2,000 people. And then next thing you know, they're giving that guy the BJ in front, and I go, I'm going to jail. Really going to jail. That's a tough one to beat. But the wildest, craziest one was back in the day at World Cafe when E came out. Remember when E started to come out? Ecstasy.
Yeah.
The blue Smurfs, the white Pokeballs, the red Lamborghini, the Dolphins, all of that stuff. And I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting. And then I never tried it, right? And then we were all there, and I had the owners weren't there, but the manager and the general manager. No, the manager, the general manager, and the assistant manager. We were all cool. Places pumping. third floor. I got the DJ jacking, second floor's jacking, everybody's all good. And I had came back. I needed to get some more change for the cashier. I went to the office there and they're like, what's up? And then I reached into my pocket and the bag fell out. The bag of pills fell out. And I'm like, fuck. And they're like, oh, what is that? I'm like, fuck.
I don't know.
I go, dude, they're like, it's E. They're like, oh, that's they weren't old. They were kind of hip. They were like, in their 40s. And then so they're like, fuck, I want to try. And I was like, so in my mind, I wasn't afraid. I was just like, okay, cool. I was glad that they didn't bust me for it.
Yeah.
So I just dropped 2 of them. I go, here, whatever. And then next thing you know, I'm like, okay, cool. They gave me the change. I walked back out. And then 45 minutes later, about 45 minutes later, we're doing, and I can see the other manager on the second floor, and then the one manager, Booney, his name was Booney. He was on the main bar downstairs, and he was like that. And then all of a sudden, people just started freaking out. And I go over there, I thought it was like a fight, and the security picks, it's Booney. They're holding him like this. Take him to the office. This dude freaked out because of the E. He was a skinny guy. Dude. We take him to the office, and at World Cafe, this office had the office, and it had a room, and a shower, had everything. But we had the shower, and then there was a hose. Dude, he wouldn't wake up. The dude was thinking, oh, the manager, how are we going to
He's gonna die.
Yeah. How are we going to explain this one to the owners? How are we going to explain it to the police? How are we going to explain any of this stuff, right? Dude, I go, someone's trying to resuscitate him doing this. The girls are, they're doing everything, slapping his face. Dude, I go and I get the hose. I turn the hose and I spray the it got the office all wet, everything right there. Then he woke up. I put the hose in his mouth, so like that. Dude, and he woke up and he was freaking out. He thought he died. He probably
did.
He died. And I thought for sure he was gonna tell on all of us, dude. Club's still banging. I don't know what's going on. But dude, that was the craziest. That right there, single-handedly, you drop drugs, you think you're gonna get busted. They ask you if they can try the drugs. Then next thing they get affected by the drugs.
They die by the drugs.
They die by the drugs. And then after it was all said and over, we closed everything up. Homeboy asked for 2 more. I was like, I said, no. I went and I fucking flushed it.
Get the fuck out of here.
Dude, that was like, by all means, dude, the manager almost died because of something that I gave him. That's ridiculous, dude.
And he wanted 2 more.
Dude, and he wanted 2 more after. But
the worst, best night of his life.
How was I going to expect? Like, oh, guess what? Oh, next day, manager, World Cafe nightclub manager dies, overdose on ecstasy. And the next question is, well, who the fuck did he get the ecstasy from?
Rick Rock Productions.
I would have been like, just take me. Let's go. Yeah. But yeah, that's it, man. That's wild. It's not no crazy sex story, nothing. But dude, that right there was one. That's a wild story. Dude, I'll never forget that ever in my life. Yeah. If you say
guarantee, I won't ever forget that story either.
If you say
it wasn't me.
And hey, have you ever tried a white Pokeball? You're like, dude, yeah, my friend, I gave it to someone. They almost died.
Stay away from the Pokeball.
Stay away. No, but those, dude, they were actually, dude, everybody was on those things. It was crazy how popular they were.
Yeah.
They were so
I know a lot of people.
I know a lot of people too. I was just like, it was just crazy. I mean, there were some that were not so bad, not so strong, but man, some people, I remember some guys and girl, I'd be at the club and I'd be like, what the fuck is she doing? She's
chewing her fucking tongue.
Vicks. Oh, she's got Vicks. She's going like this. She's going, and they get some OJ. She's got Vicks.
Yeah, they would have those little Vicks inhalers.
Inhalers, yeah.
Oh, sniffing the shit out of those
I
things.
go, what is that? Is that cocaine? They're like, no, it's Vicks. I'm like, Vicks.
Yeah,
That was pretty nuts, man.
that's insane.
Everybody had Vicks. That shit was hilarious.
Right on. Well, before we go, I want to tell you this. So when I first started promoting,
Yeah.
the first night, Ronnie them called me up and said that they wanted me in Artist Group Network. Then we went out that night, and you probably forget about this, but I'll never forget this. So we went out drinking. It was remember Koi or Osake? So we went there, and then whatever event you were doing at Pipeline, we went there to visit you. And Ronnie introduced me to you, and he said, Rick, this is Thaddeus. He's going to be one of our new promoters. I wanted you to meet him. And you grabbed me and brought me straight to the bar, grabbed me a shot. He said, welcome to the industry. And if you ever need anything, let me know. And from that moment, every single time I've met you, seen you out, anything, you had that same aloha. And it's like, I was green. I was young and not knowing anything about the industry. And the way you made me feel and that aloha you showed me, like, I'll never forget that. And that's why I always have that spot in my heart for you, because that was my first experience ever. And it was from you who I looked up to and heard on the radio and seen you at events. And that always stuck with me till this day. Like how you don't forget that crazy story. I will never forget how you made me feel that night. And I always wanted to tell you thank you for that. And
all good.
Like my career started that night, and it was when I met you personally, like, and that aloha you showed me, and you're telling me about Artist Groove and how cool it is and how strong that company is. And it's something I'll never forget. And yeah, I just wanted to tell you thank you for that. And
welcome, brother.
Yeah, it's for real. That night meant a lot to me. And
well, we have plenty more to go. I mean, dude,
it was the start of the ruckus.
It was the start of your liver being corrupt.
Yeah. My liver and my escapades and all that stuff.
It'll get better. But I want, at the same time, I want to thank you for having me on here. I know you have all these other people. There's a lot of stories that are, that can be told, and a lot of the stuff that I did, and a lot of people will never, like, if other people told these young generation kids the kind of parties that I threw, they would never believe them. But you want to know why they would never? Because I never had social. I had MySpace towards the end of the MySpace party, but
yeah,
I mean, if I had this social media now at Pipeline and Zanzibar,
oh yeah,
then
you'd have at least 4 more kids.
Either that or I'd be dead.
Either or.
Either or. Yeah. But I'm just saying, it was completely different. But thanks for having me on here. And let's definitely try to do it again. But let's try to the next time we do it. Let's just have chapters. Maybe let's have some. Let's talk about a certain event, party, or a certain year.
Yeah.
And that way we won't be kind of like all over the place and a lot.
Yeah, it's just I wanted to talk story with you, and it was cool going down some memory lane, and it was cool to find out that Ronnie brought you down here. I had no idea, or maybe I did, but I didn't. I don't think I heard that story before. So
yeah, there was.
So you're tied into AGN regardless.
Yeah. But Ronnie, I would always tell Ronnie that, because he was so funny. Because Ronnie, talking to Ronnie's like he can never stay still. That guy, you know what I'm saying?
Nope, he's a tornado, Tasmanian tornado.
I mean, I used to try to keep. At one point, I think when I first moved, I think I stayed with him for 2 weeks. With him, I literally lived with him for 2 weeks before I got my spot, before the place opened. And I was like, dude, yeah, you know what? I don't even want to go with you. Just leave me here. Like you're going too many places. I'll stay here. Just leave me here. I'll be at the house. Just leave me here.
He is action nonstop. Yeah.
I would hang out, and he still had Brittany, his baby.
Yeah.
And he was dating Tiffany at that time. And Tiff would be like, what are you doing? I go, I'm not going out with them motherfuckers. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like right here. I'm not gonna bother you. Nothing. I'll be right here. I ended up playing games with the daughter, you know, really. Oh yeah, let's definitely do it again for sure. And then
Yep, I'm down.
and then to my man over there, was he smoking out over there? Thank you, sir. The other guy from
Jay.
Daly City, the other
Yeah.
Daly City Richmond guy. Work.
Hey, area.
Bay Area. Go Niners.
Okay, definitely. Where are you guys at this Sunday?
I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, because I asked that, but I know that most of the time, if you're not working, you don't want to do shit. You're probably hanging out.
Yeah.
Because
I might actually try come Saturday. I want to check that out.
yeah, come through Saturday.
Yeah.
It's right there. It's I don't know if you guys are out and about. It's cool because it's indoor, outdoor. You've been to the beach.
Yeah. Yeah.
Indoor, outdoor. It's dope. I think it's just got a good feeling. And then we play. You know, we play all the old shit. We play the stuff that, dude. You know what's crazy? You should have came last week. You want to know why? We had Cutting Edge perform the classic rock band.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Bro,
you know,
I went to Bayview like a couple weeks ago randomly, and they had one of those rock bands throwback, and I would say, bro, guarantee you can hear Journey, Bon Jovi, and sure enough, bro, this guy dressed like Steve Tyler from Aerosmith.
Yeah.
He comes out, and as soon as they start, he grabs them like shot through the heart, and I'm like, oh, he's pulling out the guns out the fucking gate.
Yeah, they had but it's like, you know, they cover like all the good ones, but you know what I mean? I'm like,
Yeah.
I love the classic stuff too. I like the Metallica, but there's not that many places that play that kind of shit.
Yeah. That's my favorite band. I got their fucking song lyric tattooed on my chest from Metallica. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of cool because what we play, and you'll trip out the people. We had like a lot of young people that want to come in. Even the HPU kids that can't come in, they want to come in and dance after we play, like, you know, like 80s, 90s, and all the new shit. Because it's kind of interesting. It's interesting who comes, but it's always a good time. It's always good. Yeah, come through. If you come through, at least, you know, have a drink, say what's up, do whatever.
All right. Just a drink with Rick Rock. I don't.
Yeah. It might end up. It might be. Yeah. We only have like one or two. We don't do too many of those no more.
Fuck that. We're gonna be stumbling out of there. So on Instagram, where can they find you?
You can find me at Rick Rock Productions. Yeah,
all
Rick
right.
Rock Productions on Instagram, and Facebook's Rick Rock, and that's it. I'm limited. Forget all that too. I still have a Twitter account, but I don't ever check it.
Yeah, me neither.
That's too much for me. It's too quick. It's like you make one comment, and the next time you got to scroll like 100 pages to see your other. I'm over it. It's too fast for me.
And for us, you can find us on atbpod.com, Above the Bridge Podcast on Instagram and on YouTube. Go visit Boy Band John's page on Instagram. It's BBJ8, the letter 08. Check him out. He does a lot with the hardcore punk scene. He has 808 scene. You guys should check that out. It's pretty cool.
Bro, I love punk rock. I'm from the 80s. I love punk rock.
Go check it out, bro. 808 scene. Yep, that's his deal.
I love that punk rock. Plus, my wife's all into that. Back into that, you know, all of that. What we call it? We called it boutique music. Boutique, that remix, all that other stuff.
Yeah.
But you know, somebody's need to do a night like that. I bet you, like, when we used to do that before, nothing but girls came out. Ladies that worked at like hair salons and manicurists. They called that 80s new wave, you know, that shit, that The Cure, all that shit.
Oh yeah.
That's big money, yeah. That's good shit. You gotta smoke weed. You gotta smoke weed to go to those. Those are good fun. Like Breakfast Club, bro.
Yep, Breakfast Club. That was my movie.
Yeah,
all right, man. Well, thank you for
very much.
coming on this show, Rick. Bro, you're an icon, and honestly, nightlife wouldn't have been what it is in Hawaii without you, and that's real talk, for real.
And we'll see you soon. We'll make it work.
Shakas to the camera.
To the neck. Shaka to the neck. Shaka to the neck. Okay. Bye, guys.
Right on, Rick. Hey, thank you again.
Thank you. Appreciate
it. We'll see you soon.
Let's see you this Saturday. Let's see how much alcohol we can consume within.
I'm down. You can safety meeting in the parking lot.
Yeah, bring Boy Band John too. We'll play.
Yeah, I've been trying to.
COVID, I'm scared to go out.
Don't be scared. Just put a plastic bag over your mouth. Put a hole in it.
Right on, man.
Okay,
Okay,
guys.
well, that's a wrap, bruh. Shout out to the Artist Group Network. Aloha.
Thank you. Bye-bye.